with any certainty, but the sight of the stars make me dream.
We're back! Hello and welcome to the return of the most extreme podcast in professional wrestling today. This is Extreme Bastards Wrestling Podcast. I am your original host of when it was once called Extreme Wrestling Podcast, Ryan Arnold, aka Demon Master Reviews, aka The Demon, and I have here with me the new hosts of the podcast. We got Metal Ben's Chronicles, aka Metal Benamania!
What you gonna do, brother?
And Mean Metal Mike, aka the Macho Man, or Macho Mean Mike. Ooh yeah!
Ooh yeah, we all got a cup of coffee. Oh yeah, we're ready to raise some hell.
Yes, and obviously for the return, I'll let Ben, because he's the one that's going to now take over, because obviously I'm not the host, I'm the original, but I'm one of the hosts. But I'll let Ben talk about what y'all are going to be talking about here tonight.
Well, you know something, maniacs. What we're gonna do here tonight, brother. We got a review. We're going all the way back to March 31st, 1985, where it all began. With our review, with the Bastards review of Wrestlemania 1. That's right. That's what's on the radar here this evening on this brand new channel. First review here on the channel. So yes, I'm pumped. How about it, Mean Metal Mike? How do you feel about this first review here tonight?
Oh yeah, blood pumping in my veins. Oh, Elizabeth's in bed. She's watching. She's ready. She's watching the podcast.
Yes.
You know something, brother? I'm so damn excited, dude. My camera. I'm so damn pumped to do this review. So we're gonna get right to it right now.
Yes.
All right,
Before we
so
get into that, some facts about this. This was taking place March 31st, 1985, in New York City, in the famous arena known only as Madison Square Garden, with an attendance of 19,121 at the time. And also it consisted of some celebrities as well. Notables like Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper was there, Muhammad Ali. There was just a lot. There was a lot of celebrities. They wanted to go all out with this.
Oh yeah, definitely a big spectacle indeed. You know,
and
who else was there?
Liberace and the Rockettes was also
Liberace
there.
And the Rockettes.
They were in the ring doing the dancing and all that stuff.
Ooh yeah.
Well, then you had Billy Martin. Billy Martin, yes, who was the man. Yeah. He was one of the managers from the New York Yankees way back in the day. So yes, Billy Martin was there.
And he had a number of attendants of 19,121 people attended
I have
first
yes,
WrestleMania.
I had just stated that. By the way, Mike.
So, all right, let's talk about the roots of WrestleMania 1, how it began. Okay. It actually started in the summer of 1984. Vince McMahon wanted to put together a big spectacle, similar to what the Crockett's did over in the NWA with Starrcade. Now, originally Vince McMahon had another name for this event. I think it was called Battle Bowl. No, that doesn't sound right. I kind of forget what it was originally called.
It was called the War. I think a war, the Brawl to End It All is what it was
Oh,
called.
yeah, that's what Vince wanted to call it, yes. Well, obviously that name didn't happen. So, where the name WrestleMania came from? Obviously, you had Hulkamania. So Howard Finkel is the one who came up with the name WrestleMania. He told Vince, "You got Hulkamania. Why not call your first event WrestleMania?" And that's where it began.
And it
At a meeting in 1984 in Connecticut.
Yep, and the name has stuck ever since, and it has had 39 different ones, and and y'all are going to be talking about the first one. Unfortunately, I'm not going to chime in at all for this. This is all y'all's.
Yeah, you just what? Yeah, just make sure you watch the chat, brother.
Absolutely,
dude. Anyway, so yes, WrestleMania 1. We'll get into the card right now.
I think didn't we have a Piper's Pit for the first Mania or no?
Well, we did have not at WrestleMania itself, but we did have we had some Piper's Pits that led into WrestleMania 1. Like we had the famous Piper. Well, it actually technically kind of began. It goes as far back as December of '84, where this kind of began, because the Piper's Pit, where okay, so they were giving Captain Lou Albano an award, I think. I'm trying to think how it went. So Cyndi Lauper and Dave Wolf are in the ring. So this is when Captain Lou Albano turned babyface. Piper takes it's a golden. I'm trying to think you know what? Let's see if we can find some information on this Piper's Pit.
So I have Wikipedia pulled up because I can also look at the card itself. So in the months leading up to the first WrestleMania, Rowdy Powdy Piper began a talk show segment on WWE called Piper's Pit. On one episode of the shows, he hit Jimmy Snuka over the head with a coconut, leading to a feud between the two men. That's the storyline.
Yes.
Piper recruited Bob Orton to be his bodyguard against the Burgoyne Rock and Wrestling Connection. Ooh. I did not know that existed. I did not know that was it.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, they were presenting Captain Lou Albano with a golden record. I think that's who got the reward, at least, for being in the video for girls just want to have fun, that Cyndi Lauper video.
Yeah.
So Piper took the golden record, smashed it over Lou Albano's head. So then Cyndi Lauper was in the ring. Piper kicked Cyndi Lauper right in the freaking head. I think he hit Dave Wolf, Cyndi Lauper's manager, and that caused a lot of controversy at the time. So then Hogan came out, and that led into War to settle the score, which was a big event prior to WrestleMania 1 that happened on MTV in February of 1985.
Yes, you are correct. February.
Yep. So this is when Mr. T came into the picture, because Mr. T was in the audience. Either or, Hogan was being attacked, I think, in that match, and Mr. T came into the ring to save Hogan, and chaos broke out. Let's put it that way. I mean, the end of that match was just pure chaos. The cops came out and tried to stop it. It was just nuts. And that's basically what led into WrestleMania 1. And yet a couple other Piper's Pits leading into WrestleMania 1, where Piper had Mr. T on the show. And chaos erupted in that episode, too, where the cops came out and tried to stop, the fighting that was going on in the ring between Piper and T and Orndorff and Orton at the time in Snuka. So that was pretty chaotic. Kind of pre-Attitude Era stuff, too. That was kind of pretty edgy stuff for the time. So then there was other segments, too, where Piper and Orndorff attacked a fan in the parking lot who got smart with them. Then there was a Piper's Pit with Piper and Hogan going face-to-face. There was the Saturday night's main event appearance with Hogan and Mr. T on Saturday night's main event the day before WrestleMania 1. So, yeah, you had stuff like that going on that led into the event as far as the main event goes for that. So anyways, that's basically the big storyline and big build-up to the main event. Then you had a build-up between Andre the Giant and Big John Studd, obviously, where Andre was going to retire if he couldn't slam Big John Studd.
Yeah.
So, and those two had been feuding for a while prior to, WrestleMania 1 to begin with. But there was an incident in Madison Square Garden in late '84 where I believe it's Ken Patera and Big John Studd. They attacked Andre the Giant and cut his hair. And that's basically what led into WrestleMania 1 as far as that match goes. And then there was a segment on Tuesday Night Titans at the time where Andre was a guest. And Vince McMahon basically pissed off Andre the Giant in that segment.
Mm-hmm.
Because Vince McMahon asked Andre, well, what are you going to put up in this match? And Andre said, I don't think I should have to put up anything. Yeah. And he went into how, Studd and Patera cut his hair. So then Vince McMahon said something like, well, Andre, he said something to the effect that, Andre, a lot of people are going to think that you're going to have a yellow streak running up your back. And that's when Andre stood up and grabbed Vince. And basically, it looked like Andre was about ready to throw him through a wall at the time on that episode. So that led into the Andre versus Big John Studd match. Those were the two big storylines leading into WrestleMania 1. Yep. So, okay, what we're going to do right now, we're going to look at the match card.
I have it pulled up here.
Okay.
So the first match was Tito Santana versus the Executioner.
All right. Pretty much a jobber match, this one is. Now, for anybody that don't know, the Executioner was actually a wrestler called Playboy Buddy Rose.
Mm.
Playboy Buddy Rose was a part of Portland wrestling prior to WWF.
Mm.
And Playboy Buddy Rose was a really famous heel in that territory. He did some pretty controversial stuff in that territory. Even early on, him and Roddy Piper had a feud in Portland wrestling prior to joining WWF that was pretty intense at the time. So that's who Playboy Buddy Rose is. This match, let's see here. Just looking at the results here. Okay. So this match was only 4 minutes and 49 seconds. The thing I noticed too, if you watch WrestleMania 1, the interviews on this show seem very awkward. Mm-hmm. There's a part where Playboy Buddy Rose, the Executioner, messes up his promo. He just looks like he's really nervous. And you can tell the promo's not a good promo at all. It's definitely sloppy. And Tito Santana did a little promo, too, leading into the match, which was an okay promo. So, this match is nothing really special. I mean, it's basically a squash match, and that's kind of how that's kind of what you get on this first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a couple good moves in this match that Santana did. I'd probably give this match I don't know, maybe a 5 out of 10.
I give it a 5.
Yeah.
It's nothing
So
special. It's nothing special, but it's it's special. It's the first WrestleMania match. But,
right.
I mean,
you know, Santana looked good in the match.
yeah.
You know, the Executioner went in there and basically did his heel stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to what he did in Portland, but
And we get the next match. We get a real short match next.
Yep, King Kong Bundy versus King Kong Bundy with Jimmy, the Mouth of the South Heart, versus Special Delivery Jones.
25 seconds. 25 seconds.
Now, okay, this is a funny one because obviously the 9-second thing was put there to try to basically fool people because the match, like you said, it's really 25 seconds long. But they said it was 9 seconds long when if you time it yourself, you know better, you know.
Yeah.
So again, leading into this match, there was a couple promos. King Kong Bundy's promo was pretty entertaining. I mean, SG Jones's promo was more of just a typical babyface promo. I mean, nothing really special in this match. It's a squash match. I would give it, I don't know, maybe a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10, yeah. I give it a 3.
I mean, so yeah, that's basically how WrestleMania 1 begins. Okay, so the next match is Ricky Steamboat. It's just called Ricky Steamboat still. He's not Ricky the Dragon Steamboat quite yet. Going up against Matt Bourne, which if anybody knows wrestling, Matt Bourne would go on to become the future Doink the Clown. So again, this is basically another jobber type of match. I mean,
yeah.
It's probably the best of the first 3. I'd say it's the best match of the first 3 matches, you know. And they both cut promos before the match. Ricky Steamboat did his typical babyface promo, you know. And I believe this might have been his first match in the WWF at the time.
Yeah.
So, and Matt Bourne does, you know, a typical heel promo of the time. Nothing to really talk about. So yeah, this match is 4 minutes and 39 seconds. It's a pretty good match for what it is.
Good match. I give it a 6 out of 10.
So this one I would probably give maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I mean, Steamboat, yeah. I mean, it's definitely not one of Ricky Steamboat's best matches, but it's Ricky Steamboat. You know, you're still going to get a good match when it comes to Ricky Steamboat.
The next match, holy shit. The next match.
All right, so the next match gets a little more interesting.
Not Brutus the Barber. Before it was the Barber. Brutus Beefcake.
Managed by Luscious Johnny V. Going up against David Sammartino, the son of Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah.
So this match, okay. Just pull up the chat, okay. Pretty entertaining match for what it is. There's a couple of funny moments in this match, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to see Bruno Sammartino there because at the time he was pretty much retired, you know. I mean, he still did commentary for WWF at times, but pretty cool that they had him at the first WrestleMania now. Again, this ain't like a masterpiece of a match. It's just, you know, a typical match. So this match is a little longer at 11 minutes and 43 seconds. And yeah, that ended in a double disqualification because obviously interference, you know.
Yeah.
So Luscious Johnny V and Bruno Sammartino would get involved in the match, obviously, and That's pretty much about it as far as this match goes. So I guess I would give this match maybe a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I give it 7.2 out of 10 for me.
All right. Okay, the next match is probably one of the better matches on the card.
Oh, Junkyard Dog, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. Love the Junkyard Dog. Going up against Greg the Hammer Valentine for the Intercontinental Championship.
Would you say Valentine's one of the pioneers like Billy Gunn with the hair and the stuff like that? And all that, blonde hair stuff
Probably.
and all like that. Yeah.
I'd say he's one of them, yeah. I mean, of course, him and Ric Flair had a really good tag team back in the late 70s prior to Ric Flair becoming champion. Anyways, so this match is 6 minutes and 55 seconds. A lot of interference in this match. It's a good match. It's an entertaining match.
And it's for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep. So this match, at first Valentine won the match. Then it got reversed because of cheating being involved. Plus Johnny V got involved. So then Tito Santana came out at the end of the match, and the match continued. Which at the time, Tito Santana and Greg Valentine were feuding for the Intercontinental Championship, which kind of confuses me why they wouldn't have, Tito Santana versus Greg Valentine on the show at first,
Yeah.
since they were actually feuding. But I guess in a way it's kind of cool because you got the Junkyard Dog on the show at least. So yeah, I thought this match was pretty entertaining. I mean, again, it's not like a masterpiece of a match, but it's pretty entertaining for what it is. You get those famous Junkyard Dog headbutts, of course. Greg Valentine figure 4,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would give this match maybe a 7 out of 10.
7, same.
All right.
Number 6, we have, rest in peace, the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov versus the United States Express, Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I will chime in, Mike Rotunda would later come back to the WWE as Erwin R. Shyster.
IRS.
Correct. Also, he was Michael Wall Street in WCW early on. Then when he left WWF, he went back to WCW around 94, and he was VK Wall Street for a bit.
And
so, he had
we,
a few different gimmicks.
And also we have, I think, a future Four Horsemen member, Barry Windham, as his partner.
Yes.
That's very true. And
which
both of these guys,
one?
and both of these guys, well, Bray Wyatt comes from basically both of these. Well, I think, isn't Barry Windham Bray Wyatt's father, or is it Mike Rotundo?
Mike Rotunda.
Yeah, Mike.
Okay, that's right. But yeah, but Barry Windham's a relative, too, of Bray Wyatt. So, yeah, there's definitely relations going on there. Either way, yeah, this match, I mean, it's a typical face heel match. Of course, the Iron Sheik being entertaining as always. USA #1, America. Puh, puh, puh.
Yeah. And of course, him and his heat with Hulk Hogan, which he took to his deathbed. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually just Iron Sheik trying to be entertaining. It wasn't actually real heat.
No.
But anyways, so Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov win the tag team titles in 6 minutes and 55 seconds because Freddie Blassie came in, used the cane to hit Barry Windham in the back of the head, and that's basically how, Sheik and Volkov won the tag team titles.
Yes.
At the end of the match, they did a pretty entertaining promo with Mean Gene Okerlund back in the locker room. The one thing I noticed about this WrestleMania, I'm going to bring this up quick. Lord Alfred Hayes, he does like the introductions, It's very awkward, too, because he looks like he's nervous as hell when he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Which rightfully so, because I can imagine everybody was under a lot of pressure, during WrestleMania 1, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's just weird when you go back and watch it, how nervous Lord Alfred Hayes looks,
Yeah. Which is also weird, Ben, because in these early years of like Vince being in control of the WWF and stuff, Vince was doing all the promoting and the
Yeah.
audio stuff, sitting alongside Bruno Sammartino and doing the broadcasting too.
Exactly, yep. So, yeah, everybody was probably a nervous wreck that day.
Yeah.
All right, so then we get into the $15,000 body slam match between Andre the Giant and Big John
legendary
Studd.
match. Legendary match.
Oh, yeah, just a clash of two giants. Yeah, it's not a great, if you're expecting a technical wrestling match with this, no, you're not going to get it.
Nope.
Yeah, especially with Andre. Andre is not one of those that does the technical type of wrestling. He's a goddamn giant, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Actually, you'd be really surprised if you go back and watch some of Andre's earlier matches when he was younger. He did some technical moves. It's really weird to watch.
So I'm looking at Big John Studd Ben. He was born in Pennsylvania.
Yep, he was.
He
was originally from Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But anyway, yeah, so at this time, Andre's health was starting to decline too. I mean, yeah, Andre wasn't in the best condition around this period, and you can definitely tell because he has to hold on to the ring rope at a lot of times during this match. Either or, for what it is, it's a fun match. I enjoy it. It's one of the matches I've lived with since my childhood, So it's only 5 minutes and 53 seconds. Of course, Andre the Giant wins. He slams Big John Studd to win the $15,000. And of course, sneaky little Bobby Heenan, that little weasel, comes in and steals the bag of money right out of Andre's hands when Andre's throwing the money out to the crowd. And yeah, that's pretty much how that match ended. And prior to the match, there was a pretty entertaining promo with Big John Studd and the late Bobby the Brain Heenan with Mean Gene Okerlund, where Gene Okerlund's trying to look in the bag, and Bobby Heenan's like, "Get your hands out of that bag! What are you doing? Snooping around our bag or whatever." It's pretty funny. I want to see what's in that bag. Come on, Brain, what's in that bag? Stuff like that. Then after the match, there's an interview with Andre, and Andre says, No, I'm never retiring, and I didn't need that money anyways. Basically, he says that. Typical babyface promo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good for what it is. So then we get the next match for the women's, the WWE, or the WWF's Women's Championship at the time. Wendy Richter with Cyndi Lauper in her corner going up against Leilani Kai with the fabulous Moolah in her corner. Corner. 6 minutes and 14 seconds. I mean, for what it is, it's a pretty good match. I mean, these two basically go in there, tear each other up.
Nothing in comparison to you would get going into the Attitude Era for women's matches and stuff like that, Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, the promos were pretty good between these two. I mean, they were both talking smack to each other. Yeah. Not like Attitude Era style smack talk, but you get what I'm talking about.
And then we have
near the end of the match, Molly gets involved and Cyndi Lauper gets involved, and they almost go at it. And, well, either way, Wendy Richter ended up winning back the WWF Women's Championship at the time. And, well, months later, Spider Lady would come out and beat Wendy Richter for the title. Basically the first screw job in WWF before the Montreal Screwjob because it was Mola under the mask. And then Wendy Richter disappeared from WWF after that and never came back.
Yeah.
All right, so now we get into the main event, the big one. Oh, yeah, I forgot to score that match. Did I score the Andre match?
No, you did not. You did not.
I mean, it's not like I think some other Bundy and Stud. I think some other Andre and Stud matches were a little better than this one.
Yeah.
Like the steel cage match they had in '84 was great.
Yeah.
There's a couple other matches they had before this. I'd still give this match like maybe an 8 out of 10.
I give it a 7.
And the Richter Lee Lonnie Kai match, I give maybe a
5.
7.5 out of 10.
I give it a 5 out of 10. It's nothing special. For a women's match, for being the first women's match at WrestleMania, I give it a 5 out of 10, but it's nothing special.
Right. Now we get to what I think is the best match on the card. The main event. The longest match on the card, too. Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Rowdy Roddy Piper. So Hogan and Mr. T had Jimmy Superfly Snuka in their corner, and Piper and Orndorff had Ace Cowboy Bob Orton in their corner. So you had Pat Patterson and Muhammad Ali as special guest referees. You know, and let's just say there's a lot of chaos in this match.
And the story built up to it. Storyline.
This was a well-done storyline going into WrestleMania 1, which we talked about in the beginning of the show. You know, with the war to settle the war to settle the scores to Piper's Pit. And the thing is, at that time, Roddy Piper really, he legitimately really hated Mr. T's gut. Those two did not like each other.
And of course, you see the beginning, the rise of Hulkamania starts here. This is where I see the starting point. This is where it starts.
Like, Piper hated that Mr. T was involved in wrestling. He hated it. Years later, they did become friends. They did make up and eventually become friends. But back then, these two hated each other.
Side note for the storyline. Was it the first WrestleMania where we saw Mr. T and Hogan do a segment in a in a little shopping mart store?
We should talk about them real quick. You know what? Yes, they did a segment in a grocery store. They did one outside of Madison Square Garden where they're training, where they're pumping each other up, they're jogging, they're doing fucking, pull-ups and all that stuff. Come on, T, get into it. I'm ready. Stuff like that. Yeah. It's just good stuff. And, before WrestleMania 1, they did Saturday Night Main Event. They were on Saturday Night Live, excuse me. Hulk Hogan guest appeared on the A-Team before WrestleMania 1 happened. So, yeah, there was a lot going into this. I mean...
And how could you not, this is where the push for Hogan starts. Mania.
Well,
with Mr.
It pretty
T.
much started, yeah. But to me, it pretty much started in '84. But this is the event. I mean, this is the one. I mean, Hulk Hogan or Hulkamania was already huge.
Yeah.
Hulkamania would just become bigger after this. I mean, because he would appear on Sports Illustrated, he would do more talk show appearances and all kinds of stuff after this. And there's something else I was going to say, too. Fuck, I can't remember now. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought on what I was going to say here. Either or, so I guess we can get into the match.
Holy shit, it's a good match.
This is a fun match. I still like watching it all these years later. Like I said, there's a bunch of chaos in this match. Like, it starts at first, you think it's going to start off with Hogan and Orndorff. Then Orndorff tags Piper in, and you think it's going to be Hogan and Piper. Then Hogan tags in Mr. T, and, well, it's Piper and T to begin things. But then chaos fucking erupts right away. Everybody gets involved and starts fighting each other. You even have a moment in the match where Muhammad Ali gets in the ring and starts throwing fists. Well, he doesn't actually hit nobody, but he almost connects with Piper or Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, one of them guys. It was just awesome stuff at the time. So, yeah, you get a lot of good stuff in this match. You get a part in the match where Piper takes a chair and hits Hogan in the back when they're outside the ring. You know, just a lot of craziness in this match. So the ending of the match, though, everybody's fighting. Pretty much Snuka gets involved. Orton gets involved. So it looks like Orndorff's about ready to beat Hogan near the end of the match. He has Hogan in a full... Yeah, I think he had Hogan in a full Nelson, if I remember correctly. And I'm trying to think what happened here. Oh, yeah, Hogan turned around somehow, and Orndorff ended up... Ace Cowboy Bob Orton ended up hitting Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff in the back of the neck. And that's how Hogan got 1, 2, 3, and, well, Hogan and Mr. T won the match. In 13 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah, it's an 8 out of 10, I'd say. It's an 8 out of 10.
For me, I would probably give this match a 9 out of 10.
9?
It's like I said, it's the best match on the card. It's the most entertaining match on the card, you know. And it actually really set up the WWF for bigger things to come. Because if this show would have failed, WWF could have went out of business. And wrestling probably never would have became as big as it became if it weren't for the show.
Very true. And if it would have fell, Hulkamania wouldn't have gotten bigger.
No. Well, there might not even be professional wrestling today. Or it would be very, very underground if it still existed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is basically the event that put wrestling into the mainstream. You know, and a lot of the people in the territories hated that Vince McMahon was taking wrestling and turning it mainstream, you know.
Well, you gotta say, as much as people love to bitch at Vince and hate and point the finger, he is one of the pioneers for really putting wrestling out there, out on the market. Big promotion, big shows. You know.
I mean, early on, Vince definitely knew what the hell he was doing. I mean, because he put everybody out of business, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went in, man, like a fucking renegade and stole all the talent, you know. He took all the AWA talent that Vern Gagne had. He took a lot of the NWA talent, the Portland wrestling talent, the Calgary, Alberta, Canada talent.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, he cleaned house and, well, he took WWF and marketed it and turned it into a household name, basically.
And it stayed that way until we got WCW, you know.
Right.
And yeah.
Yep. Pretty much. I mean, so yeah, this was the beginning of wrestling becoming mainstream, you know. After this event, wrestling was pretty much in the mainstream, and the WrestleMania saga would continue, and it's still here to this freaking day, you know.
And back then, Ben, compared today, where you can go on Peacock or YouTube and just instantly watch a match, you couldn't do that back then.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much. I don't even know if it was on pay-per-view. No, I think the only way you'd be able to watch it back is if you bought a VHS of it.
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah, I was going to get to that. Yeah, WrestleMania 1 is the only WrestleMania that was only on closed-circuit television or in closed-circuit arenas at the time. Yep, because pay-per-view, yeah, I believe pay-per-view it didn't exist yet. Pay-per-view, I think pay-per-view started in 86, because I'm pretty sure WrestleMania 2 was on pay-per-view. but WrestleMania wasn't.
So I wonder for VHS wise, Ben. I wonder if you Googled it, how much did the VHS sell for WrestleMania? It's a good stat.
So yeah, I mean, in 1985, VHS tapes were being made.
Yeah.
And at the time, back in '85, WWF was selling these VHS tapes for like $50. Or wait, maybe not that much. It might have been $39.99.
Yeah.
Which was pretty damn expensive at that time for a VHS tape.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I did look this up online. You can still find copies of this on eBay. I think the cheapest one I found.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I have some pulling up like around $40 or 30,
Yeah.
around 30, 40, maybe.
I see one for like $300.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to have all those Coliseum VHS tapes.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to have all those. Like the only version I have, mine's a 1998 reissue.
Yeah.
Even this is starting to go up in value.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about this version, I'm going to talk about that quick. Because if you watch it on the network, they dub over the music, the original music that's in this. However, this tape still has the original music. Because on WrestleMania 1, the original intro to WrestleMania 1 was a Phil Collins song.
Yeah.
It was the song, I'm trying to think. Damn, now I forgot the name. I'm just looking it up quick. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. I should have fucking known this. So, the original intro to WrestleMania 1 was Easy Lover by Phil Collins. That's what they used for the original intro. Okay, so that was dubbed out and just, they put some kind of generic music over top of it. So then for Hulk Hogan's music, Hulk Hogan was not coming out to Real American yet at the time. He was coming out to I'm the Tiger back in '84 and '85. And that got dubbed out of the the Peacock version of WrestleMania. It got completely dubbed out. So yeah, the original version has I the Tiger, obviously by Survivor. The U.S. Express on WrestleMania 1 originally came out to the ring to Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. And that was dubbed out. And they put some generic song over top of it. And, the Cyndi Lauper match. Wendy Richter, they came out to the ring to Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And that got taken out too. And they put some generic theme song over top of it. Which I'm pretty sure WWE did that so they wouldn't have to pay licensing for those songs, excuse me there. So yeah, thank goodness I still have a version that has the original theme music on it. And they did that to a lot of the WrestleManias actually, So that's our review of WrestleMania 1.
Which I have sure to comment, guys. Yeah.
All right.
Or else Mean Macho Mike will come down and bring a cup of coffee and shove it down your throat.
That's right, brother. The Metal Betomania is going to take all you little bastard to body slam you down to the mat, brother. If you don't like,
You know
comment,
what?
subscribe, dude.
The next rumored video that we'll be doing is just a rumor. Hasn't been confirmed over the production yet. We might be doing a what if video
That's right.
with a certain group of wrestlers. Woo! I'm mentioning you, Flair. If you can guess the
So
group.
okay, so yeah, we'll talk about that quick. Well, before we do that, so WrestleMania 1 as a whole,
Oh,
what would I rate the show as a whole? Since it's the first WrestleMania, obviously there's definitely some mistakes in this event. If you're expecting high-tech production, no, it's not there yet. And
I give
notably,
it a
too,
6.5. I give it a 6.
so notably, too, the thing you'll notice is when you look at the turnbuckles, they didn't have the WWF logo on them yet. They were just pure black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you go back and watch, WrestleMania 1 and you see how things were back in 1985 as opposed to today, With how today you have all this high-tech production, you have all these fancy entrances, you got the big ramp coming down to the ring, the big screen with, and all that stuff, and the pyrotechnics.
And with today, you also have advertisements from other companies too that are giving money to the company. You know what I mean? So it's like
it was completely different back then. And another thing that made it different back then, there was no internet. So it's basically word to mouth.
Oh, and another thing back then too, that time at wrestling, if you weren't big or like a name at that time, you weren't making jack shit in the ring or close to jack shit.
That's very true, actually. Yep. That's actually very true. So, I mean, if you're working for WWF, you probably made out all right, depending on what you did in WWF.
But if you're working WWF post right up till after WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania, it's when you're really going to start making money. Yeah,
that's very true. Yeah. All right. So my ranking of the show. It's the first WrestleMania. Yeah, I still enjoy going back and watching it sometimes, just for nostalgia. Yeah, just for nostalgia reasons. And I grew up on this era of WWF. So, and I actually remember seeing a lot of this when I was a kid to build up to WrestleMania 1. I actually do remember seeing a lot of this as a kid. So for me, I would give it I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10 too.
6 out of 10. The matches were good. The build up for Mania was better than the actual Mania.
Yeah, I mean, really the only build up she had were the main event and Andre and Big Dog Stud. Those were like the big ones, And Wendy Richter and Leilani Kai. There was a build up for that too. And it's probably. The first two WrestleManias had jobber matches on them, which the next one we will talk about. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to do. We will do WrestleMania 2 next, so we're going to try to go chronologically in order when it comes to these WrestleManias. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to do WrestleMania 2. It might be a couple weeks, Yeah. I'm thinking it's probably not going to be till July.
There we go, spaced out. We do a WrestleMania each month until we get all the manias up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
So we'll
and
do
talk about other stuff in between.
Right.
Yeah.
So
which is where we were getting to what I was originally blabbering about earlier.
All right, we'll talk about what's coming up on the channel. We don't have a lot of things discussed out yet.
Yeah,
but yes, we're thinking.
Yeah, I will mention about that. Obviously, these guys are going to be doing the live stream stuff. I will obviously be doing some. There'll be the occasional. I'll do news related stuff that relates to today in modern wrestling stuff. I do have one planned. I do have a video planned. I just haven't gotten to record it yet, but that will definitely be happening soon. And then obviously some fantasy booking videos are also going to be happening.
Yes, fantasy booking is coming up next. We'll probably do that. I'm going to say maybe next Friday.
Next Friday, which will be.
I guess we'll start off with trying to rebook the Montreal Screwjob.
No. The other one I pitched first before the Screwjob. What if with the Four Horsemen? What if the Four Horsemen came into WWE?
Oh, that's something I have. That is something that I have built in that goes with another fantasy booking idea that I have, more of a personal one. But I do say the Four Horsemen is involved in it. It's just they're not the integral part of the whole fantasy booking.
Another what if scenario, because another what if streak, Undertaker streak booking, you know.
Yeah, that's.
Well, yeah, there's a few we got in mind there.
Yeah.
And yes, like the Demon said, there's going to be solo videos of him up on the channel.
Yep.
We are looking. Now, I didn't really announce this. I am looking for members to join this channel. If anybody's into wrestling, if you know anybody that's into wrestling, I am willing to add people to the channel.
And if you don't mind, I would like to plug a couple other wrestling podcast channels, if you don't mind, Ben.
Go ahead. No,
if you want to check out some good wrestling channels, well, obviously one of the goats on YouTube, one of the big guys I watch a lot is JD from New NY206. If you like someone who's real and just does not have a filter, go check out him.
He's one of the big dogs.
And then another friend of ours, they do a podcast, the Shadow Cult with Levi and Mr. Scott and Horror Master. Go check those guys out also.
Yeah, and I got a few friends also that do a podcast as well. They are called Hardcore Wrestling Rants. It is, I believe, Rick Joe, whose name is Skuldrin Knight. He does do some gaming stuff on the site. He's called Skuldrin's Realms. And also my good friend who used to be on some of the original Extreme Wrestling podcast videos and live streams, the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, who's been a longtime friend of mine, and they all do a podcast along with Zoe Nightshade. So don't check out the Hardcore Wrestling Rants crew. They're awesome people.
Excellent. Also, another one to check out is Boss Antelope 86.
Yes.
I do watch his reviews. I think he's pretty entertaining in his rant.
he's got charisma.
Oh yeah, he should definitely have a lot more subscribers than he has. So
and
yeah,
Boss,
check him out.
You're welcome on here, Boss. If you're watching, buddy, you're welcome on here.
Totally, yeah, definitely. Thrash Maniac 99. Anybody, they can come on if they ever want to. So yeah, that's pretty much the shout outs I think I have. Oh yeah. Well, another one I watched too is the Solo Monster. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him.
Monster. Yes, I do watch Solo Monster.
Yeah, I like his channel too. He does some good ones. And well, wrestling wise, that's pretty much all I really watch anymore. So, all right, guys, that's our review for WrestleMania 1, the debut review. An episode here on. I'll let Ryan say it.
Extreme Bastards Wrestling Podcast!
That's right, brother.